All right, it's Mike with Aegis Defense. Welcome back to the Modern Sportsman in Burnsville. Let's look at tonight the Canik, the TP9 series. Now this is an interesting series, and bring it on in. And the reason I say that is so everybody's been making striker-fired polymer handguns, okay? And along comes Canik after everybody's already been doing this game for a while, and they're a Turkish company. And what's happening is that you're getting Century Arms importing these into the U.S. So Century Arms being out of Georgia, Vermont, and this is an interesting little platform, mainly because one of the biggest selling factors why they're so popular right now is that everybody's making about striker-fire handguns in about the $500 to $750 range. These are coming in at $399.99 MSRP, which means you can get this probably a little bit cheaper depending on where you are in the country. So why now a Turkish handgun in this overflooded market of polymer handguns? What can they bring to the market that's just a little bit better? Well, there's actually a couple unique things with this that really kind of they are bringing something unique to the table, okay? Well, one of the first things that you're going to notice, and this is with any of them, and here we have the TP9 Elite Combat, but we also have here the METE version of the Canik, which is more of the carry frame size. And what's interesting about these is, first off, is their mag releases, they go for this kind of square design on them, and it really pops out quite a bit, giving you good purchase when you bring your hand in. But the TP9 Combat Elite Combat, that sticks out quite a bit further. They're almost taking the homework from competition handguns and bringing that into kind of a tactical modular platform for any law enforcement or military agency. Okay, the triggers on these things are actually pretty damn good. I'm pretty impressed. So we pull that, we get about, there's a little bit of play. The play is incredibly light. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how light that is. There's the wall. Once you hit the wall, it breaks immediately. There's our reset, about a millimeter reset. There it is again. That's a very crisp trigger. And all that take up, I mean, there is a bit of take up, a little bit of play there. That play is so light, you can easily find your rhythm with that. Now, what's another thing that's pretty unique with this handgun, and it's not on this model, but it's on some of the other Caniks, is that they incorporate a decocking lever, which will actually be right about here. Now, it's not on the TP Elite, but they did keep one of the features that goes with this. The idea is that you could rack a round into the chamber, carry with this, but decock it so you have one ready, but you're not having to rack the slide all the way. Why? When you do a press check on the Canik, and I'm going to show you right now, when we do a press check on the Canik, you'll see from the indicator on the back, when you're looking at the back of the firing pin, okay, instead of having to rack it back all the way to actually to engage the striker fire system, well, if I'm already carrying with one in and I've decocked it, well, I've just ejected a round. Well, that's silly and that's stupid. But if I press check this, it doesn't eject, and it's just armed the striker fire. That's all it takes to engage that system. So the idea would be that if I'm carrying and I'm not sure I want one in the chamber, well, I could carry one in the chamber decocked, and then if I need to bring it out, that's it. It's ready. That quick.
Trying to see the...
Yeah, try that press check.
There it is. That's all it takes.
That's how little it engages.
That does not take much at all.
Again, yeah,
that's
that
probably
idea, what? You're going to have one in the chamber.
That's
you're carrying it, decocked, and then if you need to, well, you can do a quick press check, and that thing's ready to rock.
That's about half an inch right there. That's
Yep.
You can hear that click.
Very interesting.
I don't think I've actually ever seen that.
It's a very interesting platform. I based on the price, the snobby side of me kind of almost said, like, no, I don't want it. I don't want to get it. At least the Elite Combat, not that bad. Well, here we have the METE, and again, you're going to see the same feature with that. That's engaged on the striker. That little press check is engaging that firing pin into the cock position. Very, very interesting feature with that. But hey, talk is cheap. Let's take them down range and actually see what they can do. All right, so we'll look at the Canik, the TP9 Elite Combat first. And I don't like the ergonomics as much as some of the other stuff we reviewed. It feels, that grip with the flared mag well in particular, it feels cramped in my hand. Like my pinky's kind of like, it's kind of getting shoved in against my other fingers. I don't like that a whole lot. But some of the other features are pretty nice. The mag release feels a little stiff. That trigger though, man, that trigger's really nice. I am digging that. So the stifling, Stifling is present. I'll say that. If there's definitely another qualm there, is that it's not very grippy in your hand. So let's throw it down range. Anytime you got that threaded barrel, man, sometimes those threads walk off. You know, just first few rounds off those 2 mags. I thought I wouldn't like the mag release. It feels stiff, but actually, in all reality, it doesn't take much to drop the mag out of that magazine well on that. The looks can be deceiving on that. So it's not, and I thought it'd be a problem. It's definitely not a problem. That's much nicer than I thought it would be. I'm really not digging how cramped it is, but I will say this shot fairly flat. I actually felt like it was really manageable, you know, with those ergonomics. You know, I thought it sits pretty high in my hand, but how that actually shot down range was much better than I thought it was going to be. I'm really enjoying this thing. This is not bad at all, dude.
Wow.
All right. Working that trigger was really, really fast. I think the reset on that trigger, even though you got that little bit of take up, once you get past that, you find the rhythm on that trigger, you can be really quick. You can belt those rounds out, and fairly accurately too. So I had a couple wingers out there, certainly a little bit out of practice, but that's okay. Like the rest of those, especially those headshots during that Mozambique drills, was really, really tight. This is a fantastic platform. Worth the price of entry? I think it is, and I believe this one's just a little bit more expensive than the regular, like the METE and some of the other Canics, but the TP9 Elite Combat, I give it an endorsement. This is a good gun. The serrations are okay. They're not as aggressive as some of the other stuff, like say like the Walther PDP or the Echelon from Springfield, but they're serviceable. They worked really well, and I've certainly felt worse serrations on other firearms. And overall, I mean, this is a really good platform I think you're getting for the price. That low barrier to entry for a modular tactical handgun for just like the civilian market definitely puts this, it's punching well above its weight, would probably be my big takeaway from this.
This is so far out, it sticks out so much. While I was shooting it, I bumped it, dropped that mag right out. Because it's so easy to press. Here, look at this. You really don't need anything.
It's
right
deceptively
there.
easy to drop that mag.
Yeah, I barely pushed it in there.
It feels stiff.
It feels very, very stiff. So while I was shooting it and controlling, I was holding it very tight. Because of that, the thick part of my palm, which sits, the thick part of my palm, which sits right here. Push that in. I don't like that at all. Other than that, I love the gun.
So if you got big meat hook hands,
yeah, you got big meaty hands. If you're holding this thing tight, which you should be, you're gonna pop. You might pop that out. I have to adjust my grip a little bit higher on the pistol. Not used to. It's manageable though. You can definitely shoot it really quick.
As you did. It's like you have a fatter thumb area. I've got no problem when I was bringing my hand into that. It looks like my hand kind of grips right into their texture, and so it seems like I'm avoiding that. But I can see that if you got big meat hook hands, a magazine release that's sticking out that far is going to cause you issues, and that's what happened with our buddy here, where he just dropped it that easily. But I think the big takeaways of this is a good handgun? This absolutely is a fantastic handgun. You got a low barrier of entry with that price. It shoots fairly flat. You have a lot of the modularity and ergonomics that you would want with a combat style military law enforcement handgun. A fantastic trigger. You have that neat feature with the press check. Now, they kept that in there, but where the decocking lever would actually be on the other models would be right about here, but we're not reviewing those tonight. We're just looking at the TP9. And of course, we have the optic cutout there instead. And it's a much smaller optic cutout where you actually have the rear sight actually screws and builds up into it. And so you know, that's something you have to weigh. This optic cutout is not going to be as forgiving as, say, like an Echelon or a Shadow system, where you have lots of options for how you're going to mount an optic on there, and you know, a larger variety of optics that you could mount on it. So that is going to be a bit of an issue. I didn't care for the grip on the TP9 Combat Elite. The stifling is almost non-existent. Did you feel that too? Like it's not that good. And the flared magwell, though, yeah, neat for reloads on this thing, makes it certainly quick. It feels like it's cramping my hand a little bit, where like it's just shoving my fingers together. It's not comfortable, okay? So in the end, is this worth it? Yeah, it's a pretty decent handgun for that price range, absolutely, and it's punching well above its weight. So this certainly gets an endorsement from me if you're looking for something just a little bit different. But in the end, this handgun is not going to be worth as much as the person behind it. So just like we always say on our channel, go seek more training, go educate yourself more, go immerse yourself more into this community, and just eat up all kinds of information to make yourself a better, more informed shooter and citizen. In the end, that's all you can really ask for. So this is Mike with Aegis Defense Solutions. Thanks for sticking around tonight. God bless and good night. Be prepared, not scared.